Device is not connecting. Zoom calls dropping. Ugh, it's frustrating. Let's end your frustration by signing up for fiber internet in Clinton. Click the Connexus icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guests on the Zoom today, Ed Shimon, National Weather Service in Lincoln. Good to see you, Ed. How are you?
I'm doing great, Seth. Thanks for having me on again.
For sure. You got to be in good spirits today. Looks like the Packers are going to head to the Super Bowl this year.
That's right. I'm already getting fitted for my ring right now, so we'll be good to go besides when February rolls around. But yeah, no, it's inevitable now. I mean, you might as well just chalk it up. We're in the Super Bowl against
for sure.
Whoever else wants to be.
Yeah. We'll see opponent TBD, but Packers penciled in for sure. No, it's always good to have you, Ed. We appreciate you making time for us. And boy, I'll tell you what a great stretch of weather we've been having here, Ed. Before we get into what's going on, let's get into today's forecast and the rest of the week. It looks like maybe a bit of a break from this fall-like weather we've had the last several weeks. What's going on? Give us the day-by-day outlooks here.
Sure, yeah. We've had a really cool Canadian air mass just settled in. The whole month of September now has been below normal every single day, which has been extremely comfortable. Just dry air, kind of perfect fall conditions if you like fall. And that high pressure is shifting east. So what that means when high pressure shifts east, the winds start turning southerly as the high pressure departs. And we're going to crank the heat back up, no doubt about it, by Friday, Saturday, some 90s might creep in. Saturday is our highest day of 92 or so in the area, which is pretty warm. It's not records. Records are still up around 100. The latest 100 we've had it in Lincoln is September 29th. So we've had some heat late in September still. So, but anyway, it's going to be pretty warm and a little bit more humid. Not as bad as August humidity, but going to warm up for this weekend and continue into the near future, week or two.
Very good. Very good, Ed. So, again, you mentioned kind of seems like we're going to gradually get to that 90 degrees. Give us the day by day here. What are we in store for this Monday? And then obviously Tuesday onward, what are we looking at here?
Sure. Yeah. Like today, still a nice, comfortable 76, which is, 8 degrees below normal, almost 9. 79 for Tuesday. 84 Wednesday, 88 Thursday, 90 Friday, 92 Saturday, and then a little cooler, 88 only on Sunday. But it's definitely about 4 degrees warmer each day almost as we head through into Saturday being the warmest day. And there's not any sign of precipitation, and the winds aren't going to be that strong either. Because we start to get field fires this time of year. We had some really bad ones, Champaign County last year, and even crossing I-74. So, when we see high winds and really high heat and we got drought starting to set in, and it's harvest season, I don't know how much harvesting is going to occur this week, but, it could start. I see some of the fields, that corn is ready to go, it looks like, in a few spots. So, we got to be really wary of that if the winds start picking up, but it doesn't look like that this time.
Yeah. How long does this heat stick around for, Ed?
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's going to stay. We've got a cold front trying to come in on Sunday, and Monday it just hits maybe northern Illinois and stops. So we are probably going to stay, in the outlooks for 6 to 10 and 8 to 14 day outlooks, solidly and above normal, like 60 to 70th percentile trends toward above normal. So, it's going to be warm all the way through at least the middle of the month, if not into the third week of August, because this 8 to 14 day outlook goes to the 21st. And we are solidly, and actually we're in the, almost the 80th percentile of above normal. So it's triggering, those 80s and lower 90s. We'll probably be in at least the 80s all the way through that third week of September at this point.
Mm-hmm. What about precip for those two stretches?
Yeah, it's below normal signal there. And just looking at the extended models, there's really no strong cold fronts, no big, low pressure systems, tracking across the area. 2 weeks of probably below normal precipitation. And we average about a 1/10 to 1/1200ths of an inch each day in this time of the year. And we're going to probably not see more than 1/10 of an inch, in that time frame unless something really changes. So that's a lot below normal. We'll be a couple inches below normal by then if nothing changes.
What are for September? What are normal temperatures to start the month, to end the month, and what are norms for precipitation in September as well? How about that?
Right. Yeah. We start the month of September, average high about 83 degrees, and we finish the month average high around 74. So we lose, about 9 degrees there. And then the low temperatures, we normally are around 59 for lows at the beginning of the month, and then 48. That's kind of chilly. 48 for the lows at the end of the month. So it definitely, below normal this month. We've been, 10 degrees below normal on several different days so far this month.
Yeah. Well, what happens there, Ed? At the end, at that third, beyond the third week of September, what do the outlooks show for maybe that 21st through the 30th to wrap us up? And folks in Clinton are particularly interested. The ears are perking up because 27, 28 falls in that stretch where we've got our big Apple and Pork Festival here in town. So, what do you know about maybe that 10-day stretch there?
Sure. Yeah, it's not looking like there's any significant systems even through the end of the month. Right now, the monthly outlook averages out to equal chances of above or below normal, which, if we trend down to about normal, we'll probably see consistent temperatures in the upper 70s to right around 80, even towards the end of the month there, and dry. We're not seeing any, big rain systems even in the far extended model. So hopefully, knock on wood, that Apple and Pork has some solid weather and can really, garner a lot of people and have a good time.
Going to be dry, it looks like then.
Yes. Yeah, it really does. I hope that doesn't jinx it, but there just doesn't seem to be any kind of pattern change this month at this point.
Yeah, sure. And of course, tropical storms, it seems like could change those outlooks. But is there anything in the tropical storm outlooks where you're like, yeah, maybe that won't change very much, or hey, we could see that change depending on what happens there. What are you noticing in those trends there, Ed?
Yeah, we are still solidly in the hurricane season. Right now, the next week or 2 weeks are not seeing any, significant waves coming off of Africa. But towards the end of September, that could change. And if we get any landfall hurricanes into the Gulf, we have seen significant rains out of those in the past. So that might be our respite if we need some rain coming up here. If a tropical system is able to take advantage of those really warm Gulf waters and start to bring in some moisture into the Midwest. But obviously, we don't want a landfalling hurricane anywhere just so we can get rain. That's not really helpful to anybody that way. But it could occur, and we'll be watching it. But right now, that the whole Atlantic Ocean is really quiet. There's nothing going on.
It's good news for those folks, for sure,
Yes.
for sure. Did you say what precipitation normally is for September, Ed?
I did not. September normally is 3.3 inches, so roughly around 1/10 of an inch or so a day, just 10th or 11th.
Yeah.
0.11.
Yeah. So it looks like we're trending way below that.
Way below that. Yeah, we're well below normal. Even for so far this month, we're almost an inch below normal, 0.8 inches below normal, since we haven't only got 1/10 of an inch of rainfall so far. So it's well below normal. And then our temperatures in Lincoln were 10.1 degrees below normal so far. I mean, that would, if it stayed that way, that would be a record. But we're not going to stay that cold the whole month, obviously, since we're warming up soon. But we're trending, top 5 coldest Septembers right now. But got some heat coming.
What about dry Septembers? We got to be trending pretty dry as well, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. We're 1/10 of an inch. But you'd be surprised. There've been some Septembers with just a couple of hundredths of an inch of precipitation. I can look it up real quick and get that number for you. But the records are pretty low. I mean, in terms of how much precipitation. I can grab that here real quick.
Yeah, sure. Take your time.
Yeah.
Should mention Ed Shimon, National Weather Service, and Luke on the Zoom with us here for today. Did you find that, Ed?
Yeah, let me get that. Top 10s. Here's the top 10. Driest September's 0.17 is the driest. So We're at 0.10. That would be number one. Yeah. Oh, man.
Surely
If we don't get another
we'll find a
10th
tenth of an inch somewhere, right?
Yeah, if we get another 10th, that'd put us in third place with 0.2.
Yeah.
It's 0.17, 0.18, and then 0.47. So, wow. Yeah, we are pushing towards being in the top 5. Right now we're number 1, but we're only a week in, so we'll see how it goes. But
Right.
the next 2 weeks don't look like we're going to get a whole lot out of it at all.
Well, let's quickly talk drought, Ed. Let's wrap up this first segment talking about drought. What's the drought outlook, or what's the drought monitor looking like right now?
Yeah, right now the drought monitor has D0 abnormally dry in all of DeWitt County, and then the far eastern tip has moderate drought with severe drought actually in northern Payette and into Champaign. So we're right on the edge of some more significant impacts here. And we just had an email from Dr. Trent Ford, who coordinates with us and other agencies on how we want to update that drought monitor. We take data through Tuesday, and then we update the release on Thursday. And he said, there's probably going to be a big expansion of moderate drought, D1. So more of DeWitt County likely would get into that, and it would all the way west to the Illinois River, sounds like, might be added to the moderate drought D1 level there. So
is D0 the most significant drought?
D0 is the lowest entry level drought, abnormally dry. And then D1 is moderate. D2 is severe. It goes all the way up to D4. 3 is extreme. 4 is exceptional drought.
Got it.
We're just entering the drought condition, with the D0. And then D1 moderate is going to start to expand this week quite a bit. And then the next week, if we got hot and even a little bit of wind, heat and wind really sap the moisture out of the soils fast, especially the wind. But luckily we don't see a lot of wind, so that'll help. But the D2 severe drought, next week's update on Thursday, we probably will see an expansion of that, probably into DeWitt, since it's right on the edge.
Got it. Man, that's going to be something to monitor for sure, over the next few weeks with this, like you said, hot and dry. Fortunately, it doesn't look like a lot of wind, but, still that heat's going to be impactful for sure. Well, Ed, I'll tell you what, let's break here, my good friend. Come back with some more. Where do folks go for all this stuff we've been talking about today? These outlooks, weather forecasts, drought monitor. Where do they find all this?
That's at our website, weather.gov/Lincoln.
Very good. Ed Shimon, National Weather Service in Lincoln, is my guest on the Zoom. More to come with Ed on the morning show.
WHOW.
Your grain doesn't have dust going into the bin. Do you see it on the way out? Seeing heavy dust clouds when unloading your grain is more costly than you think. That's a sign bugs have been eating into your stored grain and your profits. Be sure to protect the next load in your bin with leading grain protectants, Gravista insecticide or Diacon IGR. Find your solution at bugfreegrains.com before your profits go up in a cloud of dust.
MR Systems Wireless is your local internet provider for Clinton and surrounding area. They have the products you want and the local service you deserve. MR Systems Wireless Internet service for home or business includes unlimited data, unlimited streaming, and unlimited calling. Plans start at just $48 a month and get a free Roku 4 lease with our media packages. Get the speed you need with MR Systems Wireless. Call them at 935-2100. That's 935-2100 for MR Systems Wireless.
Make this school year their strongest yet. Book your child's back to school or sports physical today at SIU Center for Family Medicine in Lincoln. Keep them healthy, focused, and ready for success. Find out more by clicking their icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Hi, I'm Brett with Central Cremation Center. We're proudly offering pet cremation services to help keep your faithful companion close to you. Learn more about our pet services by clicking our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW. WHOW.
Once again, good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest on the Zoom today is Ed Shimon, National Weather Service in Lincoln. Ed, let's dive into August a little bit. August ended up cooler and again dry. Let's recap August. What were some of the standout data points?
Sure. Yeah, we started cool. We had 70s for highs, and we finished pretty cool as well. The last 10 days there were below normal, but the middle of the month was packed a punch heat-wise and humidity. The dew points were creeping up near 80 degrees, which is really excessively uncomfortable there. We didn't have a lot of that 110 to 115 heat, but it certainly, I think we had a heat advisory a couple of those days during the state fair. State fair was a hot one. I was working down there 6 of the 11 days, and we had some storms too, in the area. But the average out of the cool start and cool end, it tipped the balance toward below normal by about a degree. Precip wise, we were 0.7 inches below normal there. We had 2.8 inches of rain in the area, so it was drier than normal and cooler than normal, which I'm pretty sure we didn't have cooler than normal on the August outlook, but it was just kind of, we had that heat wave, but it just wasn't enough to tip us towards the above normal there.
Sure. Now for August, you mentioned it ended up pretty cool. What ended up happening there? Because it didn't feel like big time storms ushered in the cold weather, or maybe they did, and I'm just not remembering. But what happened there that we transitioned from such a warm and humid stretch to very cool and really moderate for that time of the year? What ended up happening there?
Yeah, we ended up getting an oscillation of the air masses across Canada, and a cold front just blasted through. We had about 84 hundredths of rain. When that cold front went through on the 19th of August, we did have a few storms. I don't recall severe weather at that point, but we did have some wind damage. I think we had in Maroa. I believe that was when we had the damage to the.
That's right. Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. I remember that.
Other than that, it wasn't super intense, and less than an inch of rain is not enough to really, balance it out. But that cool air mass really settled in, and it extended all the way into the first week of August or September here. So we've had literally, almost 3 weeks of every day below normal in terms of temperatures, which is highly unusual this time of year. This is dog days of summer. Of August, you'd think, one brief little period of cool weather, and then it's going to be turn the tides back to heat again. But having 3 straight weeks of cooler than normal days is really unusual.
Yeah, gonna warm up though, like we've highlighted for sure. In terms of just the cool month of August, was it close to any records or top 10s or anything of that nature, or just generally kind of a cooler month but nothing standouts?
Yeah, the highs weren't too high, and the lows. Well, actually, Springfield did set a couple of record lows on 2 or 3 of the days when we had the coldest stretch there. Lows on the 26th and 27th in the morning were mid 40s. But Lincoln and DeWitt area had a little bit colder record lows during that time than Springfield did. But otherwise, yeah, we were really close. I mean, lows in the low 40s and mid 40s this time of year. That's record territory. So we were close, but not quite for the Lincoln area.
Gotcha. Well, Ed, we warm up for a few weeks here coming up, it sounds like, and then maybe back to normal temps for the last 10 days of September. Let's dive into that kind of, let's dive into the, I don't know, you want to do September, October, November, or you want to do, October, November, December? What do you want to do for outlooks there, Ed?
We've got both of them at the ready here. Above normal and near normal. Above normal temps, near normal precip for both of those. So September through November, October through December are both indicating that we'll see above normal temperatures. At least the trends are that way, and then precipitation will probably give us roughly 3 inches of rain each month is around normal. Mm-hmm. Basically, it doesn't mean we're going to see that. It's just equal chances of being below near normal or above normal. So any one of those categories have an equal opportunity to grab the show. So when we say equal chances, we're not saying you're going to see only 3 inches of rain. It's the likelihood of either any of those 3 categories is the same, 33%.
Yeah. So doesn't sound like we're going to have harvest interrupted or anything like that, maybe?
it looks like, we're going to have really good harvest weather. As far as, my recollection from my farming days when I was in Wisconsin, but, dry, it isn't going to be soggy. So the field should be relatively receptive to the heavy equipment getting in there and getting the job done, and, properly drying out the harvest so that they can, get it in there and get it into their storage.
Yeah. Couple of things as we roll through September. You mentioned the temperature differences from the beginning to the end of the month. How about daylight? I know this is the time of year we really start to see that daylight kind of decrease. Those gardens get wrapped up because we're just not getting the sun they used to, and all of that. Highlight the daylight changes for us over the next month.
Yeah, we lose 70 minutes of sunlight this month, which is a lot. It tips the balance because we're in the transit period now as we get towards the midpoint, like September 21st, when we start into fall officially. That's when the sun in the sky moves more significantly towards changing the amount of daylight we have. So 70 minutes is a lot. So we're losing that both in sunrise and sunset times there. So you're going to notice it by the end of September. Those evening sunshine is going to dwindle more quickly.
Yep. Very good. Very good. Couple of minutes yet still, Ed. What are some of the more longer term outlooks telling us? How about that maybe potential winter outlook? Are we starting to see any data come in on those outlooks?
Finally do see above normal precip show up in the winter, December, January, February. Temperature wise, vast majority of the Midwest is just equal chances for above or below normal there. So, but warmer than normal is not too far south of Southern Illinois, but it looks like we'll probably have, a typical winter here. If we have that pattern set up where we see some pretty frequent cold frontal passages, which is usually what I'm seeing in this kind of a setup. And it's a La Nina winter forecast, which is wetter and I think a little cooler than normal. So, we may see a little bit more wintry precip this winter. We've really dodged the bullet there 2 years, if not 3 in a row. So, we might actually see some more winter this month, this particular winter season. We'll just have to keep monitoring the changes in that outlook as it starts getting closer. So.
Sure. Well, wrap us up, Ed. Any upcoming educational awareness campaign things the National Weather Service is putting out?
Well, this month is National Preparedness Month. So if you go to weather.gov/safety, that's got a plethora of all year round safety, but in particular in the fall, we can get severe weather any time of the year, but as you're planning up towards winter season, you might want to check out some of that. But, fire weather season is here. So there's a fire weather safety as well. Don't throw cigarette butts, don't outdoor burning. The fall can get really tricky with fire weather too. So, all that safety is there. National Preparedness Month.
Very good. Check it out. Again, the website for all that is?
Weather.gov/Lincoln.
Very good. Ed, always good to talk to you, sir. Thanks for making time for us. We'll see you in a few weeks. Ed Shimon, National Weather Service in Lincoln, is our guest on the Zoom this morning. The morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Network news comes your way next on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW.